What is up, guys? I am really excited about this one today because there's a lot of things that we're going to be doing that I think are going to help people like me and you guys out there to draft your teams. We got Ricky that's back today. Say what's up to the people, Ricky.
What's going on, guys?
And then we got the talented Mr. Taco, self-proclaimed, by the way.
My new nickname should be the Commish because
my God! Why did we open the floor with that one, right, Ricky? But no, with that being said, guys, I'm truly excited because this is my first real mock draft. Having these guys who are really skilled at winning lots of fantasy teams and fantasy contests. I myself have seen it firsthand. Ricky's won a few, Taco's won a few. I have yet to win my first one. So these guys are convinced, and they're telling me that with some of the knowledge that they're dropping on these podcasts, that I'll be able to finally jump over the hurdle and get that number one victory sometime. Maybe not in the same one with them. We'll see. They might be regretting some of the stats that they're giving me. But what do you boys think? What do you guys think?
Hopefully not against me. Hopefully against Taco.
Exactly.
Let's put it like this: with what we're doing, I guarantee you'll be at least in the playoffs in a majority of your leagues going forward. And you will be competing for championship. I can't guarantee the championship.
Can't guarantee the chip.
But I will guarantee that you'll be in the playoffs because if you're facing me and you're facing these other guys, I'm giving you my jewels. But
hey, Ricky, you see how he didn't even drop your name on there? He put you in the other guys category. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's more Will Ferrell than Mark Wahlberg,
Hey, listen, give me any one of those guys' career. Give me any one of those guys' career. I'm okay. But all right, boys, let's get to it. Getting right into it. You want to start it right off the top with our catchers, huh? Or just overall?
I'll break down what we got going on right now for everyone. Set the scene and break it down. So we're gonna be teaching Dave how to actually improve his fantasy baseball game, and this is what I'm guaranteeing that he's gonna make the playoffs. This is we're gonna show him actually how to win and draft a winning team. What we're doing is we gave him the 5th draft spot, so it's right after all the top guys. So it's not one of those situations where you're sitting there like, oh, you got the number 1 guy. No, we want to get it when it first starts getting murky, so we can start to give you an idea of how to navigate these waters. How it's going to work is we're going to draft a full regular team, 1 catcher, first baseman, second baseman, 3 outfield, 2 utility pitchers, and all that. It'll be based on projections from Yahoo and ESPN. So this way, when you see these expert rankings on the side, that's what the experts, based on their list, would more than likely go. And we're going to agree or disagree. Me and Ricky are going to be the coaches in Dave's ear. And he's going to draft this team based on our suggestions and his gut feelings. And at the end, they'll give us a grade. And, you'll get an idea of what's going on. And you'll get a real, I feel like, draft tactical ideas of what to do and where to do it.
I'm excited, man. Let's do it. Let's get right into it, guys. I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, it should be good. This should be good.
So with the first pick, you're picking at 5, and on the board there's Mookie Betts, Garrett Cole, Lindor. I mean, for me it's pretty easy here. I like the everyday position player. 72 experts are saying it, or 72% are saying it. I agree with it in Mookie Betts.
Now, at the end, Dave is the one that decides, right? Dave is the one.
Yes, sir.
You're just gonna take.
I'm just saying who I would take. Right. You say why. You say who you take and why, and Dave makes the pick of who's actually taken.
No, again, for me, I'm also gonna go with what the experts are saying. I've said it all along in the other podcasts. Mookie Betts, contract year.
I mean. I think when I was listening to you guys, we've done a couple of podcasts with the top guys, and Mookie Betts seems to be that consistent name that overall has been consistent with the numbers and picks so far at least, with our discussions. And if 72% of experts are saying it, and you guys seem to line up with those, I won't steer clear of that pick, and I'll definitely go with Mookie Betts as my pick on that one.
Yep. And the only thing I would say about this, just to top it off, is that I think both me and Ricky agreement, it's just a little too early for a pitcher right here. And I think that's why most of the experts are saying this.
Yeah.
And I mean, keep in mind, Ricky, this is coming from the man that did say that he'd take, like, I think the bottom half of his was all pitchers almost. You know,
Yes,
he had three.
exactly.
So I like to call him out on some of those,
Yes,
but that's
absolutely.
fine.
But and remember, in my rankings, I had Mookie Betts above Cole and DeGrom.
Yeah.
They go right after him.
All right.
But he loved the pitchers. He did love the pitchers.
All right. So with the second pick here for Dave, you have one outfielder off the board. You're looking at a guy with JD Martinez who can put up prodigious numbers. You have Anthony Rendon, Bryce Harper, Jack Flaherty are the projected guys. I personally am going to buck what most of the experts are seeing here. 50%, 57% are saying JD Martinez, but I agree with the 23% that say Anthony Rendon. The simple reason why I'm going to say that is because with the first pick, we took an outfielder in Mookie Betts. Outfield is one of the deepest positions in fantasy baseball. You can find consistent guys later on in the draft that are going to outproduce their value. Whereas at third base, I know that I can get other third basemen, but Anthony Rendon is really good. He's playing, in the Angels lineup where more than likely you're going to have Trout and some other great players. And I personally think Anthony Rendon makes more sense here to get a position player and leave your outfield slots open.
You know what? I actually don't think that's a bad strategy there. At number 5, you're in the middle of the pack. Getting a position player there at third base.
And this is pick number 20 overall. It's
overall. Right. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's number 20 overall. Getting a third baseman there, and like Steve said, it's top of the echelon third baseman. To get him there, solidify that out. I said it just in the last podcast we just did. Outfielders had top five overall. Outfielders are deep. You'll get another outfielder, even though JD Martinez is he produces, but you'll get another outfielder that's going to produce. I would think Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. I don't want you to think that I'm just going with those picks because we're talking to the guys, and I don't want to disagree. I just think it makes a lot of sense to go with a position player like the guys are saying, especially a third baseman. Outfielders, obviously, there's several open slots and several good outfielders. I'm not going to disagree with you guys here. I think that a third baseman on that slot might not necessarily be the top pick right now, but I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Rendon. That's who I would go with on that pick.
I'm sorry, just with drafts, people have to understand it's not always, just going with the top pick or
right.
It's always going with what you need, your needs. Absolutely. At that point. Mm-hmm. Hey, I need a third baseman. I need a second baseman here. I'm looking what I have left. It's I need a second. Yes, it's a reach, but for me, it's not a reach. I'm not coming back with anything else. People have to understand draft is not. It's really, at that point, what's best for me. It's not what's, hey, is there a reach? Am I going overall? It's
right.
What's best for me at my time.
And just what I would add to end that off is, when you look at the numbers and you're comparing JD and Rendon just based off of what the experts have projected, you see they're frankly close. It's within 0.5 point averages, 2 RBIs, 3 home runs. So their numbers are almost identical. And that's why I make that pick. It's not like if JD Martinez was leaps and bounds above Rendon, then I would say, what, just go with the outfielder because he's that much better. But when it's this close, that's when I say, and this is how we help you guys reach that next level of drafting. It's because when you put yourself into those positions, you have to also be thinking about what's going to happen down the board.
Yeah, so, and I think and we'll draft them and we can keep it moving on there. But I will just add that, in the past prior, I probably would have just picked the top recommended player.
And those are the people we're talking to. We're not talking to guys that do it, all the time. And that we're talking to people that, hey, listen, I like sports. Yeah, I know what's going on. You know what I mean? But hey, when I do draft, I get I'm not the most knowledgeable. I just kind of go with what the experts see, what I kind of know. Hey, I know he's a great outfielder, but hey, there's more to it. But hey, we'll help you kind of put everything together. Hey, there's more to it.
And I like that. I'm definitely getting a lot better feel for some of those decisions that I probably would have made unaccurately in the past.
And it's just really kind of just picking that 1 or 2 or 3 more picks that really overall make your team that much better.
I agree. So here we are, boys, on the next one. What do you got?
All right. So basically, right now with the next pick, this is your third pick, 29 overall. We're seeing another outfielder pop up, which just I think further emphasizes the point of what we're saying. Outfielders are abundant, and you see another one pop up here in Starling Marte, who's a 5-tool player and who the experts project. You also see some other positional players though, with Javi Baez, Altuve, Yordani Alvarez, and the number one player that they're actually almost suggesting to you that gives you the largest boost is Clayton Kershaw. But based off of everything here and what I'm seeing, I just would want to drill down to one other thing to see what other shortstops are available, because Baez would be interesting to me. I'd look down, I'd see there's Torres there later, but Torres, a second base, also eligibility. This would lock me into a position where I'm guaranteed to get at one of these top shortstops, seeing that there's only probably one or two other guys that I like. So instead of going with Marte, I would probably take a guy like Baez, who has a little bit more power upside and is, going to be in the middle of that Cubs lineup. And he plays shortstop.
And with you saying that, I mean, I'm really interested in hearing what Ricky thinks, because I got some thoughts on what I would have probably done and would have probably picked. But go ahead. What do you think, Ricky?
I'm probably going to go with Starling Marte. I actually like some of the shortstops that are left over. Even if I have to go with Gleyber Torres as shortstop, or be able to switch him in and out. But I actually would go with Starling Marte.
Okay.
Like I said, I do like him overall, the outfielder. But in Arizona, I like the switch, so I would go with Starling Marte.
And real quick, see, in the past, I probably would have went with their suggestion on the top left, which would be Kershaw, Clayton. So would you guys in this particular case, and I know that Ricky, you kind of leaned on more, hitting, and Taco, you leaned on more at the bottom half going pitching. Any particular reason why you probably would stay away from a pitcher on this third, on the third pick, or 29th overall?
Well, for me, everything was all relative. Once I got past the top three, I really faded pitchers. There's only to me 3 pitchers that I want this season. After that, I'm fading them in the beginning part. It's just DeGrom, it's Cole, it's Max Scherzer. Those are the guys that I would take in the first 30 picks. Okay. After that, I'm mainly going hitter focused.
Okay.
And for me, again, I'm just a big believer that in the depth of outfield, and I like position flexibility, and I like flexibility through my lineup. But again, you see, this is a close decision. Ricky was saying Marte at 42% of the experts. I'm saying Baez at 30. Kershaw was the one that's supposed to give the team a biggest lift since we don't have pitchers, but he was about 10%. But where do you
think? I would go with actually Baez. I've liked Baez a lot. Maybe it's because I watched a lot of the Cubs. And maybe there's a little bit of that into play. But also, I like the kind of your suggestion at the beginning as well, guys. I mean, with the position, I think because there's probably still a couple of good outfielders obviously out there on a couple of the next rounds, I probably would go and lean towards Baez over Marte slightly. Not like
my own thing is I actually like the shortstops that are left. And like I said, even if I choose Gleyber Torres, because I even like some of the second basemen that are out there.
Gotcha.
So overall, I'm not as down as on position players as I was in years past.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well, then at the next pick, which would be 44 overall, I think the opportunity comes now for a lot of different ways to go. Again, we see another outfielder that is the number 1 projected player. That's 4 players in a row now that have been all number 1 projected by outfield, which is why I said to fade them, because there's so many that you can get throughout that you can pick one up now, you could pick one up later. But to me, I like to get flexibility and get top players at these cornerstone positions like second base, like shortstop, like third base, and then hit on another guy late so I can double down. And if they both hit, I'll put them in util. But I know that there's going to be a lot more outfielders just because 3 outfielders play on each team. And there's 90 total starting outfielders, almost 100 starting outfielders. There's only 30 shortstops. There's only 30 second basemen. And that's why I like to get these guys a little bit sooner. And that's why I would gravitate more to our Ketel Marte in this pick. because he gives you flexibility with outfield, second base, and shortstop, where you can plug and play him anywhere. If you compare him to most of the guys that are here, you see Rizzo, you see Charlie Morton. They're trying to project the picture. Austin Meadows, who I really like, and I actually had ranked higher than Marte if you're going strictly outfield. But here, I like Marte more because he gives me second, he gives me short, and he gives me outfield. He has all the same upside, probably a little bit a better average, and I like that Arizona lineup. What about you, Ricky? What you thinking here?
I actually think you can't go wrong either way. I actually like Austin Meadows as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think he's going to be really good. Mm-hmm. But given with what you have, and given with what you have right now, I think going with Marte is the smarter pick. Again, look at him. He's second baseman, shortstop, or outfielder. You can't go wrong either way. I think you go with him. And even given with what I picked, right? Because I said I would have picked Marte over Baez. He fits perfectly now for me. Even if I would have gone with Marte starting.
That's a strong point.
I would have gone with him right now, even over Austin Meadows, because I would have had my outfielder.
Very true.
I love Marte, and I would have got him for my either shortstop or second baseman.
But go ahead.
I was going to say, just my counterpoint to that is that the outfield is also a position where you'll see some guys late, like guys like Arsuna and Roberts, these high stud prospects that you're going to have more of a shot at getting a kid later that you're going to need in your starting lineup. So that's my point. But, Dave, what are you thinking here? Based on
I like Marte. I think that I think Ricky had a good point, probably before with the Baez pick, maybe reached on that a little bit. But I thought, that I've seen Baez play a lot. I like him. So that's kind of why I leaned on that pick. But I really like the having you guys in my ear. It's made this so far lots of fun and a lot easier and smoother. Usually I'm super overthinking a lot of the picks. So far I like how it's been going, but yeah, I would go Marte on this one to keep that moving.
Cool. All right. So now after that, he could play anywhere, which I love because it gives me more flexibility.
I would like
to use him in outfield. So now with the next pick, I could take any kind of middle infield guy that looks good. I could take a pitcher. I could take a hitter. I'm completely flexible. I can bend with this draft anyway. Like if there's a run on players, I'm not stuck having to reach. That's where I like to become the middle of the draft. Now here, they want us to go pitching. They're saying 4 picks in, boys. You need a pitcher.
They're like, hey guys, don't forget that this is an important position.
Yep, and I totally agree with them that it definitely is an important position and that one that you can't overlook. And one thing that I like to do then is I like to peruse and see who's actually available on the board right now and who I actually like the most. Charlie Morton's pretty good. Giolito is pretty good. Oh, okay. Hold on, one more. Oh, I just have to keep looking. I'm kind of liking Chris Paddock. Josh Hader is someone that's actually Josh Hader right now is probably really interesting. Just because of the fact that we know he's guaranteed his role and he's a pitcher that pitches multiple innings. So he's unlike most of your relief pitchers where they're just going to give you like one inning. He'll give you saves. He can get you wins. He gives you great percentages. I would say right now I'm between Hader and Paddock if I had to go with pitching. Let's see who they have overall. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest though. Most times I do fade closers, so I'm probably gonna go to Paddock from San Diego. He's a high upside pitcher last year. Everyone knew how great he was. I think he surpasses these numbers, especially if he in a short season where he's not in an innings limit. He got shut down in the fantasy playoffs last year. He was a freaking stud. So I would actually go real big upset here and take Chris Paddock as the first pitcher that we take and as the guy that I like the most.
Who do you like, Ricky?
I actually think they're absolutely right. You have to go pitcher here.
Yeah.
I think we definitely have to go pitcher here. And it's really between Morton and Paddock. To me, I'm not going Hader. I'm not going relief pitcher.
Would you take
Morton?
over Paddock? Would you take Morton over Paddock? I mean, I like Morton from just looking at it overall pick, but that's just my thought.
To me here, I'm going to go Morton. To me, Paddock is nice. He's hard to 24. Kind of not think he's going to duplicate what he did last year. But to me, Morton is really good. And
he is. But he's really in the AL East.
He's solid. He did it last year. I think even in 2018 he did it. In 2017-18, right? He did good, right?
I mean, that Charles Morton at that point in time was with the Houston Astros, and he was pretty good. Last year was probably one of his best seasons. He has a good K rate. My only problem with him is he's going to be in the AL East, so he's going to have to face those lineups all the time in a short 60-game season. It's mostly condensed down to facing those opponents, whereas Chris Paddack is going to be facing against the AL or the NL West, which I feel is a little bit easier division. I just believe in Chris Paddack's stuff. I think Chris Paddack is a future stud in the game, but you can't go wrong either way.
To me, I would go Morton. Just I've seen him longer do it at least for the last few seasons. He puts up over 200K.
This is a tough one.
But again, remember, Paddack was shut down last season early because he was on an innings limit. So Paddack was not allowed to go full out. This is 60 games. He's going all the way.
But Paddack, that thought reminds me of one infamous Yankee put on limits, the Jabba rules, the Jabba rules. And we all know what happened with Jabba. I mean, after all those rules and innings limit and all these things, I'm not a big, I had a big conversation with Samantha's grandfather, who old-time baseball fan, the man's 88. And he talks traditional baseball, right? Where some of the players didn't have a lot of these limits, and we can see, you can see both sides, right? Preserve the arm and preserve the pitcher, and you get longevity out of that player. So I like some of those things, and probably Paddack wouldn't have been on my radar unless it were for you guys having this discussion. And then looking at his numbers, looks like a stud. To be honest with you, I'd probably go Morton on this one. I just, again, leaning on experience, I'd probably go that route. I would need another year to really see Paddack, as a pick there.
And in all fairness, right now the experts are at 54% agreeing with Morton. So this is the I would say the safe sure pick. And like you said, a lot of people do want to see that extra year in Chris Paddack. But the only thing I would say, and I'll leave off on this, the extra year in Chris Paddack is going to cost him extra rounds next year. And that's how this game works, because that's just how it works. But you can't go wrong either way. And let's see who they have left for us now. Ooh, here we are. Boom, boom, boom. They want us again to take another pitcher. They have some guys over here. Trevor Bauer from Cincinnati. Who I know you're a fan of.
I'm not opposed to choosing another pitcher depending who's up.
Yep, I agree. I do have to take
I'm not opposed to that.
Who's available. I see at first base they have Abreu, LeMahieu, Muncy. Second base they have Yoan Moncada, LeMahieu, Muncy, McNeil. Shortstop, Bo Bichette, who young kid came up, was great last season. I think he has a lot of potential, but he doesn't have position flexibility. Doesn't really seem appealing to me right now. Third base. I mean, Johan, I only see him at third, but they're showing him in two positions. Suarez. I think I keep seeing DJ LeMahieu up here, first, second, third. That's really becoming more.
That is the guy that interests me. That's the one guy that interests me right off the bat.
Tommy Pham, I know he had tested positive for COVID just now. Ozuna moving to Atlanta. That's an interesting pick. But I don't know if I would take him right now. Rosario, this kid I really like. He has good potential with home runs and speed, decent average. He's sitting in a good Oakland lineup. I just don't like their ballpark, but that's for later.
So who you got, Taka? Who you got?
I'm just trying to give a quick look and see who's there, because this one's a little bit more of I think that probably me and Ricky are in agreement here. I think that more than likely DJ LeMahieu is that guy. He just gives you more flexibility. What are you guys thinking?
I'm with you. I like DJ LeMahieu. Even though I like Jose Abreu, to be honest with you too, but I like DJ LeMahieu.
I like the flexibility. I'm going to stick with that pick because obviously we're in that Yankee hat, right? But at the end of the day, no. Overall, I think in the right in where we are.
He put up ridiculous numbers last year.
He did. Me and Taco had a nice little debate about that one.
And,
so if you want to go back, guys, and check out that debate, Dodgers Yankees breakdown, we had a LeMahieu. We even looked up what his MVP ranking was, and I think he was number 15 and number 5 and last year or something like that. So,
and the last thing that I'll add on LeMahieu is just that last year Stanton and Judge weren't there. So that just leads to more run potential.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we got him.
Yep. So now looking at the next pick, they have Bo Bichette, who I was just talking about before, who's still on the board, and he's a stud on stud. And then you have a couple of other picks here. It looks like some closers are on the board. For the most part now, all the position players are covered, the main core ones, other than catcher. And at this point in time, Ketel Marte can either flip to outfield or second base, depending on what we need. So realistically, we can either have two outfielders or have one free first baseman or second baseman. So this kind of leaves first base, second base, and outfield as positions that I would look at. I would kind of fade on shortstop, and I would look at pitchers. Pitching wise, starters, Bauer's been staying there, but with his whip being so high, I don't really like him that much. I would probably be more looking at seeing what relief pitchers are there, and Osuna has been a consistent player. So I do like Osuna here as the top pitcher.
See, this is now. Tell me, guys, real quick, and I'll just chime in on this because this is where my heart sometimes leans in on drafts. Right? I mean, I know that you should not have heart into play, but I cannot draft a Houston Astro closer hoping for a close on a Houston Astro team. So, I mean, is that wrong for me to think that way sometimes?
No, because look, right here, I don't know how many closures you're going to get.
Yeah.
So at this point, you want someone that's at least going to get you strikeouts and keep your whip and ERA low. So you want someone that's going to, because you don't got pitchers either.
Yeah.
So you need to start getting pitchers.
Right.
So you need a closer that's going to get you at least now Ks and keep your ERA and whip low. That's what you need. So at this point, you don't care about saves. You get them, you don't, doesn't matter. At this point, you don't care if you win saves or not, because you didn't go for pitching. You didn't go for closers right away. Right. So Osuna at least does that. He does that. Osuna's going to get you Ks and keep your. You're right. Let me see ERA and whip, Steve. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1.05.
I mean, they have them. They have Jansen overall ranked higher than, which is kind of interesting.
Well, just so we can set the frame, it's weird that in this frame they have him ranked higher. But if you look at it, relief pitcher 4, relief pitcher 6, ERC means experts consensus rank 102, expert consensus rank 92. So they're close, but these three guys are there. As far as what they are.
So just off that alone, man, I'm gonna go Jansen. Then I wouldn't go Osuna just because, I think heart is playing into it a little bit. I don't know that I can honestly listen. As much as I love baseball, and I can't cheer on.
and can I tell you this? The thing about it is Osuna and Jansen, it makes perfect sense to debate between the two of them, and they're both on good teams. So Jansen's still going to get you the saves. This last season he was a little bit shaky to me, but perennially he's been one of the best relief pitchers. So to pick him over Osuna is not like a huge massive.
And you boys are okay on that pick being a relief pick, a relief pitcher.
Yeah. The only reason why Bo Bichette here is the biggest upside pick. That's why 97% would go this way, because you will probably
end up with one of them. and we have Marte, so we got backups there for that position.
Well, I mean, the other thing is you have 2 starters.
Utility, yeah.
You have 2 starters. So, I mean, he is the best player on the board. Make no mistake about it. If you're going full offense, Bo Bichette is the
we
guy.
have no pitching. I think
we have no pitching is right, and that's why I make that pick on a closer, and that's why I suggest that.
Okay.
So we're gonna buck the experts here, and we're gonna go that 3% chance.
We might make these next 2 picks a little quicker than normal. I know that we're maybe taking a little bit longer. It's my first mock draft, guys, so I apologize, but I'm taking a lot of the things that the guys are saying into consideration, and I want to have better draft picks, right? And I think we're trying to help you guys do the same.
Now for me, this pick is plain, simple, easy. Luis Robert, hands down, not even thinking about it. This is the number 1 prospect in MLB baseball. The White Sox just gave him a ton of money. This kid can do everything. I think that's pretty simple. But who you guys got? I mean,
he's number 1 prospect. You need an outfielder, no brainer.
Yeah, the only other thing I would probably
pick a reliever, but
yeah,
I mean you could do that. You could do that. You could do a reliever, Steve.
Yeah, because Hendricks, who was right there with Jansen, that would really lock you down since you already have the great offense.
I'll be honest with you, that's not a bad thing. You could get a reliever who gets some saves.
Right.
That
category, right?
In the running. That would put you in the running.
But to me, the whole reason why I'm fading outfielders early is because I want this kid. I think this kid next year is going in the top 25 picks overall. Missing out on him is missing out on Bitcoin at the early point.
Whoa.
It's up to you.
Yes. He was the highest selling baseball card.
I would go dropping a bomb over here.
Well, if we're going fast, rapid rounds, I'm going to give you the rapid.
I mean, you know what? I was going to lean on Ricky's pick on this one, but it's almost like, Ricky, I want to see this guy perform, and I want to see what Taco, when he lays down those outrageous picks and just puts so much into it. I like to see him be proven wrong or right. So I'm going to lean on him with this one. What do you think, Ricky? Do you think it's not a bad pick? All right.
And again, the reason why I say this too is because relief pitchers, I mean, at the end of the day, you can get some anyway, but this is the number 1 prospect in baseball.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go, Robert.
That's the number 1 prospect.
And again, this is why I'm also fading outfielders early, is because you get guys like this in the 8th round who, like when Arsuna came out and he was a beast when he first came out. That's exactly what this kid could be.
See, again, he probably wouldn't have been one of my top radars. So these are the type of moments I think that are helping me with becoming a better drafter. Excuse me. So I appreciate that advice, and you guys are coming hard with facts. So,
and then here, I think this is the cool thing about when you take a guy like that, you lock in your outfield position. So this way you have flexibility. Let's just say you don't get another outfielder, you get an infield player. You can move Marte to outfield. You get an infield player. Outfield player. You're good with leaving him there. And now this leaves you in a position to take some of these pitchers that probably are going to be left over, like we've seen now. Carrasco last year got sick.
Wheeler,
so he kind of like I'm a little shy on him. He had I think I forgot what he had, but I know he got sick. Woodruff is a high potential, high upside guy. Zach Wheeler signed a big contract. Matt Soroka is young, talented, and has tons of potential. I mean, if I'm going in this spot right here, I'm more than likely probably going to just take I'm probably going to take a starting pitcher. I'm going to go with a guy like either Woodruff or Wheeler. And just based off everything Milwaukee can do and how I believe in Woodruff, I'm taking Woodruff. I'm agreeing with the experts.
What do you think, Ricky?
I'm probably going to go with I'm trying to look at the who's the catcher left?
The catcher is Yasmani Grandal from the White Sox now. I mean, I like Grandal, but there's still Wilson Contreras on the board, Salvador Perez. I just don't think that Grandal is that much of a difference maker in comparison to getting another pitcher when we only have 2 right now. Woodruff is the best starting pitcher on the board. He's he's fairly young at 27. I do like Zach Wheeler a lot here. I just think based off all the decisions, it's almost like you have to go pitching here. And when you're looking at the pitchers, Soroka's good, but if you look at his comparison, it's not as good. I just like Woodruff. What do you think?
I mean, you could go Woodruff. You need to start a pitcher. I mean, if you really want to take a chance, Zach Wheeler. But
honestly, I think this is picking hairs.
It's really at this point your third pitcher.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's your second starter.
I
might actually lean more toward Wheeler. Actually, the more we sit here and debate it, just because I believe
the only thing I could think that we maybe shortened up a little when we didn't go hard in is starting pitcher.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of
with an offense like this. Oof.
Pitchers.
I mean,
during the season.
I'd probably go Wheeler. I'd probably go Wheeler on this one. I've seen Wheeler pitch a lot.
Really can't go wrong.
Yeah, I've seen him a lot. That's the only reason why I think I would lean on that one, Ricky. Only because I've seen him, but Woodruff I haven't seen too much, and I know that he was looks like the top pick by the experts, and you guys seem to think the same thing, that it could go either way. So that's the only reason why I kind of went that way.
And at the end, like I said, I kind of skimmed more towards Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
But right here, I think things get interesting. Now it becomes a decision of, do you want to try to get good saves, meaning you're going to get guys that have good percentages, get your Ks, and be a consistent threat for saves and be one of the top save guys? Or do you want to build up more of your starting pitcher? Or do you want to solidify the rest of the offense? This is kind of one of those make or break points of your draft. They're projecting Oscar Mercado, who's an outfielder with a lot of speed. He gives you some power, kind of a low average, as the number one guy. There's some decent guys in here. Nick Anderson's a closer for the Tampa Bay Rays. He has great upside. I would say that for me, I'm probably between Anderson and Luzardo as the two picks, with Edwin Diaz, who had a horrible season last year, not someone that I'm really interested in banking on. Raisel Iglesias also got banged up, so I would say I'm between Luzardo, who I think as a young kid, this kid could be a stud. I think he could be a stud. He's a little bit of a risk, or Nick Anderson, who when I see that, I'm going Luzardo. That's my pick. 22-year-old kid.
What do you got, Ricky? Maybe starting pitching on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm going with Luzardo. I had him last year. I held on to him the whole time. I was gonna think of reliever. I was gonna tell you that maybe Edwin Diaz turns it around because he was gonna be the closer again, but he just had a bad year. I don't know if you go that round with the Mets.
Yeah, and I'm going to go Luzardo. I'm going to go Luzardo because I like that.
I had Luzardo all last year. To me, he's a stud. He's going to be healthy. That's the guy I would go to. You need starting pitcher. You're hoping this is the ace in the hole that you get because you need that. We need that starting pitcher. We need that other ace. We need that ace. So we get that ace from Luzardo, that guy that we think we're going to be in. Who's that? Was that the guy from Arizona?
Was it Oakland?
Who are we talking about?
I
thought I saw the guy from Miami, but he already got picked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, just to give a quick little recap as we're hitting the speed rounds now, where the money is made. We got the offense is pretty set. We got LeMahieu, Marte, Baez, Rendon, Betts, Roberts. Pitching, we just picked up a couple of guys since we didn't go pitching early. We got Morton, Wheeler, Jensen, Luzardo. I think at this point in the draft, you have flexibility now to kind of go anywhere. If you want to go a relief pitcher, you definitely can. Nick Anderson, who was still on the board, or who you were kind of looking at before, is still there. There's some relief pitchers that you can probably get. But for me, I'm going again with another. We need a possible stud. At this point in time, I'm taking my shots with starting pitchers. because God forbid their ERA and WHIP go bad. I won't be hurt with the closers that I'll get. That'll just get saves. I like Zach Gallen's upside. I think he could be a stud. I like the Arizona offense. He's 24 years old. He was traded from the Tampa Bay Rays over to Arizona last year. Yeah. He was one of the top prospects coming out. The second he came out, everyone went to grab him. He had some good games, but he got hit up a little bit. What are you guys thinking right here?
I'm thinking starting pitching.
Yeah, that's the guy I thought I saw. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's good too. I would have him too. He's the guy I had on my team as well. He had some good games. Mm-hmm. He got hit up, but he's good.
Let's go with
Arizona might help.
Arizona pitcher all day.
And then just to give one last point, the experts do have Andrew Benintendi as the number one player ranked here, and he's a really good player, and he has the potential to be really good. But just to me and probably to everyone here, just based on what we're seeing, we don't have that many starting pitchers, and at this point in time, I'd rather take the upside shot on the starting pitcher than the bat, because I know that later on I can still grab another bat, I can still get someone else, but I'm not as necessarily needing a starting pitcher. Here we're seeing some starting pitchers being that's why I'm there. Here we're seeing that now you have an option to get some flexibility. You got Boyd, who was on the board, Andrus, Robbie Ray, Nick Anderson still there. So that's a guy we were looking at a few picks ago that we waited on and still has that potential to possibly be there. Just doing a quick peruse of what's going on. Ahmed Rosario, someone that's interesting, but he has a low ADP and you can wait on. Josh Turner, I think Josh Turner has a lot of upside. We do have a third baseman, so he would have to go into utility, but I think he's a good bat that's there. There's some outfielders.
What about Lorenzo?
Lorenzo Cain, he is he's pretty good, but he kind of doesn't steal as much as he used to, and he doesn't have that much home run potential. So that's kind of why I would fade someone like him a little bit just in this position. You do still have someone like Raisel Iglesias, who would give you a second closer that will play for an up-and-coming Cincinnati team, in my opinion. We are fading catcher pretty much at this point in time. I like Will Smith that you can wait on for later. So I would probably say I would go the closer here. What do you got, Ricky?
I'm looking at the starting pitchers, not really anyone you would grab or think that was much upside. Matthew Boyd, but nah. Robbie Ray for strikeouts, but he'll probably be there, probably still just two. It's high whip. Not going to get you anything there. I'll probably go with Iglesias. Yeah, what was Nick Anderson?
Nick Anderson has been on the board for a while, but they do have him in a job battle. Personally, I really do like Nick Anderson, but I also think that the Cincinnati Reds could actually win that division, which would give Raisel Iglesias a shot to have way more saves. And at this point in time, having Jansen on the board as your only closer, it actually puts you in a position to have good saves. You still can get hitters, and you still have flexibility. Still can get an infield, a first baseman, second baseman, or an outfielder, so you're not stuck into anything. I would personally go closer, but
I'll go closer. I'll go Iglesias. That makes sense. That's probably what I would do.
He's just the safest pick right here. At this point, you want to go safe. You don't want to make it too risky. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so now this is when things get interesting. These are when the money rounds are. One thing that you're gonna look now, like we said, first, second outfield, and another closer possibly. And then who they have us projected at. Okay, so Rosario from the Mets is there. Andrus, they got two shortstops. Mike Minor from Texans. Robbie Ray. Just quick little perusing. Corey Seager's there. Edelman, Lux, Encarnacion. Justin Turner's still there. Outfield, there's some guys. Starting pitcher, Hendricks or Urias. Relief pitchers, Hansel Robles, Doodle, Colome. Personally, I think I would probably go Doolittle just because at this point in time, I'm just trying to get some saves. I already have a decent amount of hitters. I have some starting pitchers that I like some upside. I like to balance it out with guys that'll give me some good percentages and give me some Ks and some saves. What are you thinking here, Ricky?
I'll probably go with Justin Turner.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I should have said something on that.
I like the
That's
bat.
exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna
I
say
like the bat. At this point, one of the better bats out there.
Yep.
I would take it. Not for the closer that's out there. Not for Doolittle.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason why I do like Doolittle is because I think the Nationals will be really competing for a title or not a title, but like the division. So he's interesting, but he's still on the board right now.
Why did they have him as a job battle on him?
No, they don't.
They had him a job battle.
Oh.
Well, he's still there. At this point, if you want to choose a reliever, that's fine. But he's still there. That's fine. Look, you get him now still.
I mean, at this point in time,
at this point, you can get a reliever. At this point, it's worth a reliever now.
I mean, I think that does make sense. But since you guys did mention, I didn't notice that he was in that job battle. I think that probably would change my opinion a little bit. Turner again was someone that I do like too. Over there you really couldn't go wrong. I probably would just go Robles over Doolittle just because
battle. Yeah, I agree with that pick.
When you analyze the information you get and make it quick. Because usually you only got a minute 30 when you're making your picks, so definitely that.
But that's a good thing. At this point, at this round, you don't want any closer in a battle. And most of them are going to be in a battle at this point late. So if you can find one that's not, then definitely pick that one.
The only time I'm taking a closer in a battle in this position is if they have the better stuff, and I think they're going to take it long term. Right here,
but a lot of times, a lot of closers at this pick at this stage are going to be in a battle.
Yeah,
true. Very true. We're in that like 173rd.
True, but that's the whole reason why we took Robles over him is because he wasn't in the battle, and that was a difference maker. Here, I definitely like Brian Reynolds. He's a young upstart kid. We covered him last year as one of the breakout players, so he was someone that we were heavy on last year that I was talking a lot about. So for me, it's simple, easy, until I see Lance McCullers there, and then it becomes a little bit harder. But I'm between McCullers and Reynolds, to be honest. But probably Reynolds would be my guy.
What do you think, Ricky?
I actually like McCullers. Actually, that to me is a pretty good steal, McCullers.
Mm-hmm.
There, we don't have pitching.
Yeah.
McCullers actually a pretty good steal there.
Yeah, truthfully, I thought for a second when I saw him there because again, I believe he's interesting. Both these guys, you can't go wrong.
Let's go McCullers because I think
Houston Astros, Dave. You like that Houston Astros, Dave?
Listen, I just couldn't go closer. I couldn't go closer.
Rooting for an Astro.
Every single game that he's out there, I'm gonna have to be rooting for him to win that game. I can't do it.
Guess who have root for more innings though?
Yeah, well, I'm glad I didn't go with him. I'm sorry, guys. Unconventional pick on that, but I had to go with it.
So at this point in time, some of the top players on the board are.
I went with McCullers.
So actually, right now, just to break it down, we do have three closers. We got Robles and Iglesias late, and then we had Jansen early. Starting pitchers, it's Morton, Wheeler, Luzardo, Gallen, and McCullers. So for not going with pitching early, we have a lot of high upside, high strikeout pitchers.
Listen, if one of those guys get hit into an ace, we luck out with those.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. If I need 2 to 3 of these guys hitting.
No.
Wheeler, Luzardo, and McCullers. I need 2 of the 3. And Morton, I need 2 of the 3 to hit. If one of them hits, I'm not winning a title. I need 2 of the 3 to hit.
If Charlie is who he is, and let's say Luzardo becomes an ace, Zach Wheeler is who he is. Zach just is not hard. If that's all we really need.
Right.
No. That puts you middle of the pack. I mean, yes, at that point, you have the offense. No.
Well,
Luzardo has to be a Cy Young type ace.
Well, let's see how this shapes out, guys, because we already got those picks. Yeah. So let's round it out, and then we'll definitely have a lot of time to debate that.
Yeah. It is. So here at this point, I guess I'll do the speed version of the draft. You're going to be looking at a lot of offensive players that you have available. You can see some starting pitchers, but based off what you have, I probably would take a catcher. at this point, or an
Yeah,
outfielder.
that's what I was gonna say.
Realistically, you got Russell Wilson Ramos, who probably is going to be good offensively, and
And just to
I'm
speed that
going
back up,
Buxton.
you're going Buxton
Yeah, I just love his upside. He
over
just
Ramos.
oh yeah.
Okay, let's go Buxton. Oh, well, first, wait, Ricky, what do you think?
No, that's
Buxton?
fine. Yeah, Buxton is fine. I like
Okay,
Buxton.
all right.
I think that Ramos will still be
So,
up
so
there.
be there. Oh, actually, he went on that round.
So here you can look at another outfielder. You got Justin Upton.
What
Pitching
what do we
wise,
got for catchers left?
Stroman Musgrove, catcher, Carson Kelly, who's interesting, Yadi Molina. I mean, at this point in time, I'm probably just fading all catchers. I'm getting every other player first,
Okay,
and then I'll just grab something else on the catcher, even if I don't use it. So at this point, I'll go quickly to relief pitchers, see if there's any closers on the board. This is the closer from Pittsburgh. This is the closer from Atlanta. Projection is weak. I'm taking the guy from Pittsburgh. At this point in time, I'll throw that dart on the board. We already have a lot of the other positions covered, so I'm going closer. Any
What do you think, Ricky?
any dissents?
No, we could do closer.
Let's do it.
All right, closer rounded out. Now we're into the lightning rounds. Boom, 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 boom. At this point in time, I'm probably going to be looking for an outfield, a utility bat, because I'm going to want to get some more hitters on there. Luke Voigt would have definitely been a guy that I would have liked. Segura right here.
Yeah, you definitely need to fill out the utilities.
At this point, actually, I probably would take Yachty, just because we don't have a catcher. And no, I take Gene Segura if you're showing me those guys. Oh, Chris Davis is still there.
You could take Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Chris Davis.
Point.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go
Yeah,
Davis,
Davis.
because that's another bad utility, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and here's the crazy thing:
sure.
if you look at it, they don't have Chris Davis anywhere here, but this is why we go deeper. And they had 54 on the first page, but now 80% would say this. So I don't know what these experts are saying, but Chris Davis has the best upside here. He's only utility, which is his downside, but he's the guy, I think.
Yeah, I would take him too.
I'll go
Short
with that.
season, he could do damage in 60 games.
I agree.
He gets hot. It's a big deal because he gets hot with the long ball. All right, so here we're looking at boom, boom, boom. Dum-dum-dum.
I need a catcher, right? Suzuki.
There is no catcher that we have on the roster at this moment in time. But at this point in your draft, most likely people have players that they like and that they've already taken. So I probably would still fade a catcher and I would take something else. And I would probably take Brendan McKay. He's a high upside pitcher. He is a young stud. If you look at his whip in comparison to everyone else, he is at 118. The reason why is because if he gets to play 36 innings, they probably don't have to come out right away. He's going to be the best player. He's going to be someone next year that's going to take a lot higher.
What do you think, Ricky?
Who else is left there?
You got Justin Upton, Joey Votto, Carson Kelly, Kurt Suzuki.
No, I mean as far as pitchers.
Lucchesi, Keller, McKay, Defel Kasani.
And what about hitters overall?
The hitters were the ones that I just mentioned overall: Justin Upton, Votto, Carson Kelly, Kurt Suzuki.
No, you go with the pitcher, yeah, McKay.
Yeah, all right. Let's go with McKay. I mean, if you like his upside, then I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Just to keep it moving real quick, McKay last year, he's a offensive and pitching prospect. He's a good hitter. He's a two-way player. They definitely like him a lot in Tampa Bay. They did send him down and bring him up a lot. That's why they show him with depressed innings. I think that once they actually give him a shot, he's going to be a good player. We're seeing a lot of the same players on the board now because people aren't moving and people are going for the deeper rounds. They're projecting a catcher for us to take a catcher since we don't have them any right now. And now we're either drafting bench spots or a starter and a catcher. To me, Kurt Suzuki is probably the safest bet because he doesn't kill your average. But at this point, again, I would do the same thing. I'm going to fade a catcher. I'm going to take another pitcher since I skipped on pitchers early, or I'm going to take an outfielder with some upside. To just off of what I'm seeing here, I would probably take a Ryan Presley because I think he can maybe get the job or be a good stabilizer. Or I'm taking a Justin Upton because I think he can be a good player in that the Angels lineup.
What do you think, Ricky?
I mean, I'm looking at the hitters that are left.
I'd probably go Upton, to be honest, just to kind of round out that.
Yeah. I mean, look, at this point, if you want to do that, you can go Upton.
Yeah. Okay. I'd go Upton.
Yeah.
Yep. It just gives you more flexibility. The only thing you're still missing now is catcher.
Yeah. So this round, I'd absolutely pick a catcher.
I'll be honest with you. It just depends. If I see everyone has a catcher, that's what I would actually do is I would go through and see how many people have a catcher. If most people have a catcher, I'm absolutely not drafting a catcher now because they don't need it. It's a waste of a pick. I would rather take an upside player. I saw Alex Verdugo right there. That's probably the guy, or Abisail Garcia. I like them both at the outfield. This is what I said before. Outfield is really deep, and there's a lot of guys last year. Like Verdugo was the big guy in the Mookie Betts trade, and that's probably why I would take him right here. McCutchen in Philly is a great one too. So I honestly probably would go with another outfielder here at this pick. But what do you guys got, or what are you thinking?
I would probably go with McCutchen. I think
it shows he's injured. Is he actually injured?
Who?
McCutchen?
Will not be ready for opening day, recovering from ACL, expected back before the end of the year.
Solid pick.
Just off that injury report, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be back, Ricky. I'm not sure, but then I'll probably go Verdugo.
Yeah, then I would go with Alex. Yeah.
And again, one of the big things is Alex Verdugo was the main player in the Mookie Betts trade. He's a young player. He hasn't actually played that much in the majors, but he has good offensive potential. He should be able to get you a decent average, and he'll be hitting in Boston. So, you really can't go that wrong. These are high upside players that we're taking now. Some of these guys may be cut really quick, or they may end up blowing up. This is where you kind of have to manage your roster. Again, at this point in time, there's 3 picks left in the draft. I'm going to fade a catcher. I honestly don't care if I even draft a catcher at this point in time since the rest of my offense is so stacked. I'd rather take some pitching upside chances. I may take a Dylan Betances because I think he'll win the closing job in with the Mets, and that would be the guy I'm taking is Dylan Betances.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad pick. Even if he doesn't, he's
a good relief coming in.
If he's back to normal, he'll get relief strikeouts. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Betances. I've always been a Betances fan, so yeah, I'd go with Betances on that.
And one of the things that I just want to double down on that, as far as philosophy goes, is why I'm fading a catcher and why I'd be taking these relief pitchers here. At this point in time, since I didn't grab any catchers that fit in the draft plan, it didn't make sense. And taking these relief pitchers, your starters only pitch every 5 days. So that's where you're going to have relief pitchers in for most of the time and just flip the starters in as they flip. So instead of using a dead bench spot, I can use these pitchers to balance out my ERA and whip and get me Ks. At this point in time, I'd be looking at a guy that's in a job battle and has the opportunity to be pretty good. So I can either do Tyranny, who's the backup to your closer in Jansen, or go with a guy like Givens or Hudson, who's in a position battle. I would probably more than likely go closer because I like the starting pitchers that we have. I would still fade catcher. But any thoughts?
You wouldn't pick a catcher on this one, Ricky?
There's only one more pick after this, so I would take the better player overall.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. See,
if
again,
you're gonna pick a catcher at the beginning, it doesn't matter.
Right. See, and again, this is why, guys, right? You take some of those, some advice from some of these guys, because I most likely would have thought of it like, oh, I need to get a catcher. Absolutely.
No. At this point, it doesn't matter who. No one's gonna pick a catcher now. It doesn't matter what happens.
Honestly, okay. I think the best one is the top guy off the board for the relief pitcher, Michael Givens. He looks like it's just like the biggest upside. If he's bad, I'm cutting him quick. So, it's a quick hook on these guys. Now it's just more of a high upside type play.
Let's go with Givens then.
Yep.
Yeah, go with Givens.
And then we got our last pick here, right?
Last pick here, drown it out, make this a nice quick hour-long draft special.
Wow.
But with this last pick, it's really simple. You can either take a catcher if you believe in someone, or just take another relief pitcher that you can put in there and just balance out your pitching stats since you went with the other guys early. Zunino is an interesting guy. Based off what I see, I would probably take Zunino. Just because I know he has big power. Now he's playing in Tampa Bay. He used to play with the Mariners in Seattle. So he's something that's interesting to me. But pitching wise, if I didn't get him, I'd either take Daniel Hudson or Tryon. Daniel Hudson's in a position battle, and Tryon is the backup closer to Jansen, who we already have. Make sure that we have the Dodgers locked down because we know they're going to win games, and we want to make sure we get those. So that's either way you go. Safe.
I'm not gonna. I would listen to Ricky's pick at just it out, but I would like the.
I would go catcher.
Oh, you would go catcher on this one.
Yeah, I would go catcher. Yeah.
What were you thinking, Dave?
I was thinking of locking down the Dodgers relief because I've been almost thinking football, like that backup running back. That when you get the starter, you gotta get the backup. You know what I mean? Because then I feel like you're out of luck. Now I know it's a short season though. So maybe if it was in a longer season, maybe I'd think that way a little bit. But then again, you have to think about it in the standpoint of the Rona. The reality is that what if one of them tests positive? So maybe I'd go with that.
So just to break it down for everyone, this was a quick mock draft where again we faded pitching early, went pitching late. Faded some of those high outfielders that they had us taking early, and went outfielders late. We ended up getting a B+ ranking, 88 out of 100, and we don't even have a catcher on our starting lineup. So that again just shows you the value, and we have the backup closer here in Tierney. It just shows you the value of actually how you draft and how you look at your team and how you balance it out to get those guys later.
And guys. I just want to, close it out here. I know it's been an hour long, so if you guys stuck with us, we appreciate it. The reason why you might have wanted to stick out with us is because, sorry, the little guy wanted to make an appearance, is because it would have given you guys a strong starting point, right? Or a strong foundation for your team. The guys were in my ear here, so they definitely gave me some guidance and it made me feel more confident as I was making these picks. So I think that, come back and check this one out. If you guys have the time, listen through the whole thing so that you can kind of put our lineup up against maybe some of the things that you guys are thinking. You guys brought the heat. Ricky brought the heat. Taco brought the heat. So I really am looking forward to exporting that lineup and seeing what it looks like, what it turns out to be. I know this was an hour long, so thanks for sticking strong, guys. We appreciate it.
All right, man. Good night.
Yep. Right. And I just want to end everything and say to you guys that I really do appreciate you guys staying with us, and we'll try to keep them shorter, but I know that we got to get you the content that you need. And again, I just want to thank you guys for everything, and we look forward to helping you out some more this season. Have a wonderful night, guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care.